So, welcome to the RecWired Podcast. Today, a very special guest, our latest partner, Alex Faiers from Addictivity, who, I'll tell you, I could probably tell you what they do, but I'm sure Alex will tell you slightly betterly. So, what does Addictivity do, Alex?
So we're a digital marketing agency. We specialize in working with recruitment companies, and we're sort of a 50-50 split of recruitment, website, and digital marketing for our recruitment clients.
Fantastic. How long has Addictivity been around?
Rather a long time. I'm almost ashamed to say we're in our 25th year at the moment, which makes me feel incredibly old, but also goes to show that we've had skin in the game for quite a while.
Fantastic. Obviously we share a common interest. We both went to Reading University many moons ago.
That's right, which recently discovered. Yeah, so I was there and I graduated in 98. I was there doing a design degree, typography, for 4 years. So I was trained as a sort of print designer, traditional graphic print designer. And then after graduating, moved swiftly over to website design, as the internet was really just a thing back then in 98. It was just really becoming a commercial interest. So yeah, I think we were sharing the corridors of the university at the same time, but I don't think our paths crossed.
No, I graduated in 98, and instead of going into the world of work, I became president of the Students' Union, which was a great year, great experience, and learned a lot about yourself. To be paid to be a professional student is one of the best career moves you can do. I think my claim to fame was I shared a panel with Mr. C from The Shaman. Completely unqualified to talk about any of that type of, but yeah, I felt cool doing it nonetheless.
Yeah, I bet.
So you went and worked for someone, I guess, and then what prompted you to go and start your own thing?
That's right. Yeah. So I freelanced for a while as a designer, and then I ended up in a full-time role for I think I mentioned this before. Jeremy Hunt was my last boss. So I worked in Hammersmith for his company, Careers. What was it called? Hot Jobs, Careers International. I was there for about a year, but started Addictivity at the same time. So Addictivity actually incorporated in 98.
So it was a bit of a side hustle.
Yeah, a bit of a side hustle. Pretty much as soon as I graduated with one of my developer friends, and I worked for around a year. So in a full-time role, and then evenings and weekend doing website work, really learning our trade, and got to a point where I had enough to survive for 3 months, and handed in my notice. And
how did Jeremy take that?
He was pretty good, actually. He was pretty nice. Always a nice chap, to be fair. And that was it. That was the last real job I had. And I think it's probably similar in recruitment, as it is to working in a marketing agency or a design agency. You work there for a while and you think, oh, this is easy. I can do this, no problem. And you go off on your own and you go, I didn't really realize how difficult it was running a business, managing people, building a team, and all the rest of it. So it's been a bit of a baptism of fire over the years, but I've learned a little bit over the last 25 years, and we're still going.
You were telling me about pretty big knock you had quite early on during the I mean, founders going through, I think founders, like recruiters, need to be super resilient about these things, and it's not always that straight line. You have a few bumps in the road along the way.
Yeah, it never is. It's been a long, challenging journey. It really has. So we started really well. So late 90s, early 2000s, we were flying, doing really well. We were picking up some amazing clients. Yeah. And we were getting clients in New York and flying to New York and working with like Subliminal Records and doing really well. We got up to about 15 staff, and we've been doing some work for BT Ignite. We had some big household name clients. Things are going really well. But we started a side part of the business, which was more of the hardware IT side of things. So we had Addictivity Solutions and then Addictivity Design, if you like. And we were unfortunate to have a new customer come on board for about 6 months, buy a load of stuff from us on the IT side of the business. And it turned out to be a very large case of credit card fraud. And we weren't the only people that were involved at the time. it was front page news of Computer Reseller News at the Times, October 2003, and it was about an £80,000 credit card fraud against us. So we went bust overnight, pretty much. We had about a week's notice, I think, from the bank. No insurance against it, and they said, "Yeah, you owe us 80 grand. We're taking it out of your account on Monday." It was tough. So one of my hardest mornings, going in and making 15 people redundant in one go, was really difficult. But you learn, you go again. Sort of dusted myself off, if you like, and started again pretty much the next day.
It must have been pretty tough to go back and go deep to the well again. You feel like you're doing well, things are flying, and then it's back again.
Yeah, it was a really tough period, but on the agency side, the clients that we had all stuck with us and understood. We had brilliant relationships with everyone, so we managed to close up that side of the business and not worry about the IT hardware solution side again, and just stick to what we were good at and what I enjoyed. So yeah, a bit of a bump in the road, not pleasant, but
is that a bit of
experience.
A lesson to founders about sticking to one thing and staying focused? And
I think yeah, I think maybe like staying in your lane. I also at the time I ended up managing. I was in the sort of MD role, managing both sides of the business and not actually designing anything, not doing any marketing, not talking to any customers, and just updating spreadsheets. Which actually, when you look back on it, that was no fun. I didn't enjoy it, and it just sort of fell into that role. So I think it was probably a blessing in disguise. Since then, so it's just over 20 years. We've just been concentrating on websites, design, marketing. What we do best, and it's starting to pay off.
Fantastic. So it really comes through as design as your passion, and where does that sort of come from?
Yeah, I think just from growing up, being at school and then art college, and then going and studying graphic design. But the real interest for me was graduating and being around at the beginning of the internet, and beginning from a design perspective, multimedia design, and bringing in animations and this whole new platform. That was really fascinating for me. So as soon as I was able to sort of bridge over and learn those new skills, I did that. So I'm coming from a strong design background, but I think in the last 20 years, it's really been from a marketing perspective, working with clients, doing great work and being creative. But ultimately, it comes down to being effective. So when we're working with recruitment companies, we're leading with strategy and we're focused on an ROI. So yes, we want to be creative. We want to come up with great marketing ideas and marketing campaigns, but really it's about marketing that works. At Addictivity, we talk about websites that work. And what we mean by that is having a recruitment website that goes beyond your typical recruitment conversions of applications and registrations, to having a website, a high performance website that generates opportunity. And you can actually have a provable path to ROI, which I think a lot of people, especially in recruitment, really struggle with from a marketing perspective. So our focus is really on that, is on making websites work hard for our clients, and having a provable, workable ROI that they're happy with. And it means if we can get that, then they're happy to work with us on an ongoing basis. And I think, it speaks volumes, hopefully, that we've had some clients that have been with us for over a decade.
Wow.
And, that says a lot, hopefully. If we're able to get to that level, we tend to keep our clients.
So you talk about lanes. How did you end up in the recruitment lane?
Yeah, good question. We kind of fell into it, to be honest. We were working
just like
with
every recruiter falls into it. So
yeah, we were working with anyone and everyone. We had Kickers as a client, a Sporter in the health clubs in the UK, all kinds of stuff. But we did pick up a couple of recruiters as we did. So we worked with Resourcing Solutions in Twyford, which would have been back in 2010, 2013, something like that. And we had a really good run with them for 3-4 years. And it ended up in the owner, Richard, selling and being bought by Matchtech, Gattaca. It was a really great case study. We'd taken their website from basically them not really knowing or understanding how it was performing over a 3 or 4 year period, I think it was, to at its peak, the website was generating £1.4 million worth of business a month. So it was a great case study. And we were like, this is really interesting. We've redesigned the website. We've come up with some digital marketing, SEO content, and had some really good provable results. So that was the first kind of introduction to it, of seeing real success in the recruitment space. Then we started working with James and Gordon from TRN before TRN was a thing. This is probably 10, 12 years ago. So we've done lots of work for them and a lot of their customers. And that continued for a while. And then I think we got the REC as a client. And that was really the trigger for us to think, oh, okay, we should probably take this a bit more seriously. So I think we made the decision to pivot and only focus on recruitment brands about 10 years ago, something like that. And now we're 100% recruitment focused.
So the thing I find about recruitment, trying to explain it to people who've not worked in recruitment, is how it's three-sided. So you've basically got B2C with candidates, B2B with your clients, and then you've got to attract good staff. So you've got to be really clear on your employee value proposition. So I guess, how do you start to balance all of that?
Yeah, it's difficult, and it's always a challenge, but I love that challenge. It makes it really interesting. You know, one of the reasons I love working in the recruitment space is exactly that, working with three main audiences, making more often than not complex websites with data integrations and jobs coming back and forth. So it makes it a bit more interesting. But dealing with those three main audiences, what we typically do at Addictivity, we always start with strategy, but the very beginning is going through discovery. We like to launch websites with a minimum of one sales funnel. So during the discovery process, we'll be finding out what are the biggest issues that they have at that moment in time. And as you know, it's kind of swings and roundabouts really between trying to find candidates, quality candidates, enough candidates, or the BD side. It's typically the BD or the candidate side that are the biggest issues. And then the third audience, the work for us and building your employer brand, normally comes later as the agencies are growing. So we'll identify which one of those is the main issue for the agency at that time, and then try and solve those problems with digital marketing and with their website, and primarily with a sales funnel. So I'll give you an example. You know, we're always listening to our customers and trying to find issues, trying to find problems that they're going with. So we check in with our clients every month just to have an update and see what's new. We have a client who've been with us for years, a company called RecWired. I think they're the top 50 recruiter in the UK, and they supply HGV drivers, lorry drivers. And we were having a catch up, and they said, I think this is pre-COVID, they said, we've got this real problem at the moment with drivers. It doesn't matter how much money we spend on the job boards, on CV Library or whatever, we can double the ad spend, and it's the same pool of drivers. We can't find any more. And there was a very well advertised driver shortage at the time in the UK, pre-COVID. Post-Brexit, everyone had left and gone home, essentially, back to Europe. So they had this massive driver shortage, which they couldn't solve just by throwing more money at the same solution. And they had a secondary issue with drivers, which was they were calling the branches. They had 6 or 7 branches at the time, and they were literal tire kickers. They were drivers calling up looking for work, but they had the wrong driving license. They had too many points. They'd been banned. They didn't live in the UK, all of these different things. So they were wasting their time, and they couldn't get them off the phone fast enough. So it's this kind of issue that we're listening to and saying, well, how can we bring our knowledge and marketing experience and our tech stack to try and solve this problem? So in this case, we thought, we'll try a chatbot. We'll try a custom chatbot. Hadn't done one before at the time. But what we'll do is we'll channel all of the drivers through this chatbot. So we won't let them just call the branches. So we changed the website, came up with this custom chatbot, and the drivers had to pre-qualify themselves. Where do they live? What are their qualifications? How many shifts have they done in the last 60 days? All this kind of stuff. And if they get through and they qualify themselves, then they could book in a call. And if they didn't, we politely, sent them on their way. So what happened was the call volume to the branches absolutely tanked. which was great. The call quality, however, went through the roof. So much less, but people that were calling had booked in their call and they'd pre-qualified themselves. So that gave us proof of concept that this funnel, this chatbot funnel, was working. Then what we did is we started running Facebook ads straight to the chatbot built into Messenger. So it enabled us to run ads to a different audience, away from the traditional job boards, which had been exhausted. And of course, typically lorry drivers, when they're not driving, they're on their phone in their cab looking at Facebook. They're a 24-year-old young man typically. Hopefully, so the ads worked really well.
At the same time, but
not driving at the same time, obviously. But so we launched that. This must have been 3-4 years ago. It's still running today. When we launched it, they were getting an average of 30 driver leads a day at a cost of £1.70 a lead. So we solved the driver problem because we're listening and looking for opportunities of what we could bring to the table to try and solve these issues. So that's the sort of candidate audience, a good example of trying to solve an issue for one of our customers.
It's interesting to listen to describe that because, for a normal web company, they'll come design your website, off they go, they host it and stuff. But you have this, it seems that you go over and above that sort of, go deep down and let's, one size doesn't fit all, not a template.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So we're a little bit different with that. We do have our top tier program, which is our agency accelerator program, where we work. This exact customer is on that level. So we meet every week, we meet every month, we meet every quarter, and we're accountable for our goals that we've set. So we run scorecards, and we're all about driving a workable ROI and proving our worth. Because if we can do that, then obviously we're going to retain the client and everyone's going to be happy. So we're focused on that, and we're focused on making our clients' websites work, not just on the candidate side, but on the BD side and the employer branding side as well. So at that level, we try to do a sales funnel every quarter. So every quarter we'll check in, we're up to date with our clients. We know what the latest issues and opportunities are. So we'll be looking to do another funnel. Maybe this quarter it's BD, maybe next quarter it's candidate again, whatever it might be. And then making those funnels work hard for them.
The big challenge for, I would say 95% of founders I speak to, both in the groups and in my consultancy, are how do I win new business? Because 2 years ago, business, it would have been how do I get that candidate pool, but how do staffing agencies get new business right now?
Yeah, I think a lot of it depends on the size of the agency. So the traditional model of just hiring another consultant and giving them a 10, 15 grand target and showing them where the phone is, it does still work. But I think when you get past a certain point and you're growing and you're an ambitious recruiter and you want to get to the sort of 30, 40, 50 staff and above, you need to start taking your brand and your messaging really seriously. So the traditional old school hitting the phone stuff is always going to work, I think. But I think what we've been seeing in the last few years is recruiters wanting to become more of a strategic partner, more of an advisor, rather than a commodity provider and putting bums on seats. So there's a longer sales cycle. And I think where marketing can come in and help that is by building brand authority and credibility and building these sales funnels, which I mentioned a few times. Yeah. Because if you're selling a high ticket solution, or it's, you're 20, 25% on a high salaried position, it's not cheap. People are looking for that advice and that strategic, reliable partner. So you need to build the know, like, and trust. And it's similar to us at Addictivity. We're not selling cheap websites. It's not a commodity product. We want to become a partner, and we want to work with our customers for years. So a lot of what we're advising is with that sales cycle in mind, your 10, 12, 14 touch points, is to lead with content, lead with some sort of content that has high perceived value. We use the term lead magnets quite a lot, which are typically the start of a sales funnel. Giving away something of high perceived value. Ideally, you're solving a very specific problem to a very specific person. And in a recruiter's case, that's going to be your ICP, your ideal customer profile, because then you're leading with value. What's important is that in a typical sales funnel, you'll have some sort of conversion content, be it a lead magnet or a quiz or a survey or salary survey, whatever it might be, that you then follow up. So there's two really important things that need to happen. You need to have marketing automation to nurture that prospect over time. So that might be a 6, 12, 14-week process where you continue to give value over time via email. And then we also recommend that we run retargeting ads. So they've been to the website, they've consumed some content, they keep getting emails of value, ideally, over a period of time from you, but they start to see your brand everywhere. So whether they're clicking on that or not, it's building your brand and building that brand awareness over time, so that when they have that hair on fire problem, I've got 20 developers that I've got to get in place in the next 6 weeks, you're top of mind, and you've already led with authority and useful content. So that helps in the sales process. It also helps generate opportunities and build a funnel and build a pipeline beyond just hitting the phone.
Yeah, so I think it's about being present. It's just about making sure, and I completely get that, the more present you are, the more, and smaller companies can punch above their weight by just being in that. I mean, I've seen some really good examples of firms that have done that. And especially if they're in the relevant niche and they stay in their niche, then they can outperform bigger firms with bigger budgets and bigger history as well.
Yeah, 100% being focused on their niche and staying in their lane, like we said earlier. It's being able to understand your customers' problems. The better you can understand their problems and then potentially bring content marketing and digital marketing to help them solve those problems and educate them. It might be around team retention, how to retain the best tech talent, for example. If there's a problem in your business of losing your best talent, why is that? And how the recruiter can help educate and guide to get a better performance, get them to keep their team better. So staying in your lane, using the right language, talking about the problems that they're having, and how you, as that strategic advisor and partner, as a recruiter, can help solve them. That's what people are looking for. A trusted advisor that they can rely on for years, ideally.
No, 100% agree. So I think the exciting news about you coming on as partner is because when we were looking for a partner, as you say, what you talked about there isn't for everyone. If you're a startup business, then that's not quite for you. You don't need that level. You need effectively something that's very capable, very, but very easy to get going, and use the word affordable.
Affordable,
so, affordable,
and fast.
And fast, affordable. What's not to like? But I think what's super interesting is, I think that Addictivity product works with our scale up and our enterprise groups, but you recently acquired RecSites, for which I think for our founder community, which we're very strong on as well, seems like a really solid product for them to get into.
Yeah, I think so. So it's been an interesting 6 months. So at Addictivity, we're typically working with agencies that are somewhere between 2 and 50 million in annual revenue, that are ambitious, are looking for growth, and they have one or more in the marketing function already, but that person is struggling typically, and they need external help. But we speak to a lot of recruiters all the time, and I think I just got sick of referring people to our competition, to be honest, because they weren't quite at that level. And I'd been having a conversation with the previous owner of RecSites. Obviously, they're on our radar, being in our space. And it is such a good option for the startup or small, solopreneur, or, the 1 to 5 person recruiter business. And they are looking for something that's quick, and they are looking for something that's affordable. And that's definitely not the case with Addictivity for either of those things. RecSites ticks that box brilliantly. So we've been having a discussion with the previous owner for 12 plus months, something like that. And it became apparent that it was an opportunity there for us to acquire the business and take it over. So that was towards the end of last year in October. That has been a challenge, a big challenge. When you suddenly inherit 200 customers, for example, it's a different game in terms of support and maintenance, infrastructure. But what we've done, we wanted to learn about that end of the market as much as possible. What are they looking for? What are the problems that they're specifically going through, and how we could have RecSites help them with those problems. We wanted to ramp up support, have a proper support desk, which we've done. We've built a small team around it now. So we brought 2 specific consultants in that know the infrastructure side of things. Running a 200 website, multi-site network, for example, has its own complications. So we're improving infrastructure, improving support. And I really think at that level, you can't beat it. It's a really good product at an amazing price point, but we're still trying to make improvements. So one of the reasons we've bought it is, selfishly, we think it's actually a pretty good BD tool for us at Addictivity, because if we can help enough of these agencies grow to the point where they're 2+ million, they can come and work with us, and we can play a different game at a different level. So we're trying to help this customer base get more from their website. So, for example, we've just started a workshop series. We did the first one in Q1, where it was just for RecSites customers on SEO and the basics of SEO and how you can get more out of your RecSites website to attract the kind of traffic that you want. So that was really good. We had great feedback for that. We've got some amazing new templates, because it's all template driven at that level. We have some amazing templates coming out next month. We're bringing AI into the platform. So we had a new SEO tool come in with AI baked in last month. We're bringing AI into the actual builder, so it's going to help our customers create new layouts using AI. So it's really exciting, and it's challenging but exciting, and I think it fits well with what we're doing at Addictivity. Obviously, it's the same kind of thing, but a different end of the market, and I think there's good synergy there, and it's been fun. I haven't bought a business before, so had to learn a lot about that, and follow that process through. Again, had its own challenges, but we seem to have done okay.
So, Alex, in the groups, the feedback on RecSites was, to be candid, like Marmite. And obviously you knew that buying the business. And I feel some people thought it was amazing, super good value, but probably the problems are around sort of just consistency and availability of support. So having taken over the business, so to existing customers and also new potential customers who may have heard this, what's the Alex promise?
Yeah, absolutely right. That's been my take since we've taken over the business as well. Is some people have had an amazing experience and couldn't be happier, and others less so. I've tried to speak to as many customers as possible. I've probably spoken to 100 or more personally, to try and hear their story and just introduce ourselves and let everyone know what we're doing and what our plans are. But I think the Alex promise part of it is the fact that we've gone from a single person owned business who's supporting around nearly 200 customers at the time, to having an agency and a team behind it. So it's completely different. We have a new support desk. We've hired new developers. We've hired new consultants on the infrastructure side. So we are more than one person. So the Alex promises, we're here to deliver better support, better infrastructure. We're trying to give more back to that community and build more of a community out of it as well. And ultimately, we want to help as many RecSites customers grow to the point where they can come over to Addictivity and have that custom experience, if you like. So,
fantastic. We're super excited to have you as RecWired partners. And as I say, because your products and your solutions fit those very key markets for us. I guess the other thing that's really exciting is because we've launched RecWired Plus, a lot of the content and a lot of the learns are going to be hosted in there as well. So we're looking forward to your years and years of experience as well to be helping our Plus members as well. And I think the hotline will be a great addition where our members can call up and ask for that advice as well. And ultimately, having someone who's been doing this for 25 years is super important.
I'm looking forward to that as well. One of our values here at Addictivity is help first. This is our attitude to anyone and everyone. We want to be a helpful person. We want to be a helpful part of your community now that we've come on as partners. And we want to help first. So if there's, any question, large or small, we're here to give our advice in a non-pitchy, non-salesy way. We just want to help, and hopefully we can help the community and bring some value along the way.
I'm sure you will. Last question, and I'll ask it to all the guests, because as founders, sometimes you're quite isolated from that. How are you and how are your customers seeing the recruitment market at the moment?
Yeah, I still think it's a mixed bag. We have some pretty big customers on the tech side, and what we're hearing is we're good. We're back to normal. Things are moving really, really well with technology recruitment. And then, we work with others in the construction side of things doing less great. I was in London a couple of weeks ago with one of our construction clients in the city, and it's been a struggle for the last 6 to 8 months. There is early signs. I think the construction logistics market tends to follow or be a good indicator for the UK economy. So there are signs of it coming back, but it has been a real struggle.
Yeah, no, I think that's quite consistent with what we're hearing, that it's a bit of a mixed bag. I think everyone probably agrees that 24 is going to be a solid, tough, have to grind it out year, but better than 23. And I know a whole bunch of people that are just looking lovingly at what 2025 can bring. But I think it's just a case of, I think now's a really, really good time to get your house in order, to make sure that almost your digital assets are working for you, and we'll supercharge that growth as and when it comes.
Yeah,
looking forward to working with you. As I say, it's great that our paths have crossed again 25 odd years later, and to the RecWired members, probably be seeing a bit more of you. Certainly be seeing a bit more on the groups, and looking forward to a long and fruitful partnership.
Yeah, likewise. Brilliant. Well, thanks for your time today, Andy. Thanks for welcoming us to the group. Super happy to be here.
Yeah, and thanks for putting up for the. It depends how good the edit is for those viewers who've stuck with this. If you didn't notice that we had internet problems, then the editor's done an amazing job. So thank you very much in advance, Anya. Brilliant. Take care. Catch up soon, Alex.
All right. Thanks, Andy.